Warning, we're going to be talking about poop. Sorry, it's just with the territory. Hey everybody, welcome to Big Valley Living. My name is Michelle, and a couple of weeks ago I released a video about my journey with colon cancer. And currently I am in stage 4 colon cancer. And I want you all to know that I don't see that as a death sentence. So that's kind of the point of why I'm going through all of these videos to talk to you about it. The first thing I'd really like to do is to thank everybody who watched the first video. I'll put a link to that video at the bottom of this particular vlog. The comments are amazing, positive, encouraging, lots of prayers, well wishes. And then some of the most touching things are the reason that I actually decided to make these videos and vlogs. And that was so that if you are experiencing that, have gone through it, have a family member who's gone through it, just so that you know that you're not alone out there. And I have received some of the most heartfelt, wonderful comments from people who are either going through it right now, were afraid to advocate for themselves. I got a comment yesterday that completely blew me out of the water because the lady who watched it, the first video, was encouraged to go ahead and allow herself to be vulnerable, take help from family, ask for help when she needed it, and more important than anything, she decided that she was going to take matters into her own hands and be her own advocate. She did not have trust in her medical team, and she reached out to a prominent facility in the United States to seek a second opinion, and it sounds like she's going to be making some really positive changes. So that was one of the reasons that I wanted to share my story, so that people didn't feel like they didn't have a choice or that they didn't have any control whatsoever. If you're not comfortable with your medical team, then you need to find a team that you're comfortable with and that you trust. So please keep that in mind. Now, before I go any further, I want to tell you guys, I am not a medical professional. I am the farthest thing in the world away from that. I am just a normal person who had some changes in my bowels, and eventually had I had to reach out to my doctor. And so I'm just sharing with you what I've gone through, and I'm going to take it bits and pieces at a time, so that if you just are curious about one aspect of it, you're not going to have to weed through an entire video. It also allows me to kind of digest it as we're moving forward. And I hope to be recording or releasing a vlog about my journey about once a week. And that way, it gives me time to process it. It gives me time to get questions from people and respond to them thoughtfully. And yeah, that's how that's going to be. So it's going to be a long journey because I had surgery in November of 2017. And as of the day of this vlog, that was almost a full 6 years ago. So 6 years later, I am alive. I am living a different life, but a very full life. And I feel like I don't take things for granted the way maybe I used to. So, break time. All right. So today we're going to talk about the signs and symptoms that I had, and signs and symptoms that a few people that I know have also had. They're very different signs, and the entire point of this is to let you know that if you see any of these signs, please seek medical attention. So what happened in my case was that in around February and March of 2017, I noticed that my bowel habits had started to change. I had to go more frequently. It was a little unpredictable. It wasn't tied to any particular food that I was eating. I mean, I tried to Did I eat bad salad, or did I eat something that didn't agree with me? Am I eating fried food? I tried dietary changes thinking that it was just me, and what I was eating. So it didn't get better, and nothing really changed it. And things began to change more rapidly. So moving into like April through June, it got to a point where I was really nervous about eating. I didn't eat breakfast. I'm not a big breakfast fan anyway, so that wasn't a great loss as long as I had my coffee. But what I did notice is that I started avoiding taking lunch to work. I started avoiding going to lunch with friends. And I ate a lot at work. I found that saltines with butter on them, yes, it's a thing, especially if you were alive in the 80s. Anyway, I digress. I just didn't feel comfortable eating in social situations, or if I was going to have a meeting after lunch, because I didn't want to embarrass myself by having to excuse myself to go to the restroom, and then who knows what would happen there anyway. I might have a longer visit than I expected. So anyway, those are the kind of changes that started happening more and more often. Also, in this around the same time in April of 2017, the company that I worked for was holding auditions for their form of TED Talks. And if you're familiar with TED Talks, there's usually a topic. Somebody goes out and they talk to a group of folks, and they just focus on that topic. I was very afraid of public speaking, and yet I had a position, part of my job duty. I was afraid of public speaking, and part of my job was actually to do outreach at the time. And I knew that I'd be speaking in front of larger groups of, 50 to maybe 200 people at a time. So I figured that if I auditioned for that, I would get free coaching. Of course, it would be on my own time, but I got free coaching on how to prepare for some sort of a speech, how to conduct myself, and I just saw it as being, number one, an honor to have been picked, and number two, is a really wonderful opportunity to increase my marketability in the workplace. So I go in and I give about a 2 or 3 minute spiel about determining the gender of bell peppers. I had heard something at a Pampered Chef party about how many bells are on the bottom of a pepper, determining if it was male or female, if it came from a male or female flower. I later found out that actually what I told them was unfounded, but it was still interesting and everybody was captivated by what I was talking about. So I made the cut. Around May, we were all given, all of the candidates who had successfully auditioned for these internal TED Talks were given topics. And the topic that I was given was mindfulness. There was mindfulness, there was joy, all kinds of just really neat human things, that end up making you, it's bad, discard that. So as it turned out, I was handed out the assignment of researching, and preparing my speech to discuss mindfulness. As it turned out, that was completely serendipitous, because learning about mindfulness, which I really knew very little about when I dove into it, learning about mindfulness and then practicing mindfulness ended up becoming a very valuable tool for me to learn how to focus in and live in the moment, not to worry so much about the past, not to worry about the future. Live in the moment, take a deep breath, and enjoy what's around you. And I'm telling you guys, that is that is the most precious lesson I learned, and it honestly happened, obviously, for a reason. The way all of that played out happened for a reason, and I believe that so strongly. So by June, I knew something was really very wrong. The shape of my stool had decreased to like the size of my pinky, and I do not have big fingers. Liken that to maybe a number two pencil, and that was always there was really no regular poo going on anymore. Also, I didn't realize this, but when your poo is black, that black is blood, and I also didn't realize that. So I did one day see red blood, and it scared me really badly. And so I called my doctor, and they said, well, if it's red, it could be a hemorrhoid, which I'd never had, thank goodness. So I didn't let that bother me, and that didn't happen again. So I was worried, but not as worried now. Still not understanding that the black tarry stool was blood. So I did have my 50-year-old checkup coming up in at the end of summer, beginning of fall. So, it's June going into July, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to be at the doctor in like 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk to him about it when I get there. And that is, in fact, exactly what happened. He sends out a questionnaire about a month ahead of time. And as much as I didn't really want to talk about it. Shame on me. I smoked at the time, and I didn't want to hear the smoking lecture. I kind of put my head in the sand and figured that in my Pollyanna world, everything was going to be better and that it would resolve itself. Again, I really want to reiterate that everybody's situation is different, okay? And I'll talk about that in a few minutes, because I know people that did not have the same experience as me who did have colon cancer. I'm only sharing with you my own experience. So some of the other people that I've met have told me that they actually were almost the opposite. They were unusually constipated. And where it might have been for 1 or 2 days and they could resolve it with a stool softener, it increasingly got more difficult for them. And they too were afraid to eat because they had a hard ball in their stomach and it was painful. So it's important to let you know that if there's any change in your bowel habit and it concerns you and it goes on for any amount of time, that's when you want to reach out to your doctor. Do it early, because the earlier they can catch something, the better your chances are of not having it metastasize, which means it's going to go somewhere else. And if they catch it early, you may not have to go through any treatment. And that, my friends, would be super precious. Okay, so I go to my doctor, and I was honest with him, and I did get the smoking lecture. But by then, I was a closet smoker. No one at work knew I smoked. Very few actual relatives knew that I smoked. I never smoked in the morning before work. I never smoked during the day. I didn't even have cigarettes with me. I would have them at home, and I would go out and sneak out in the backyard if we had company. Yes, I was a grown woman, but I was ashamed of it because I knew it was wrong. And I'm not going to preach to you about not smoking, but it can be a contributing factor. And I will proudly tell you right now that I have not had any nicotine products whatsoever. No vapes, no patches, no cigarettes, nothing since November 16th of 2017. Thank you, God, because I can't imagine if I was still smoking today. Ugh. So I might cut that out. I don't want to be preachy about smoking, but it is a risk factor, and so I just want to put it out there. I care enough about you to ask you to consider looking into ways to stop as soon as you can. And I don't care if you've been smoking for 1 year, 6 months, or 35 years. It's never too late. My lungs feel amazing now. And I don't think I would be telling you that had I not had this diagnosis. I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stop talking about anything. I just wanted to let you know that what my signs and symptoms were, what I've heard from other people, and encourage you that if anything like that is going on in your world or somebody you know who trusted you enough to share it with them, please encourage them, or for yourself, go get a doctor appointment. I'd rather be embarrassed at the doctor about nothing than to have something growing inside of you that could cause you ultimately an awful lot of harm and a lot of discomfort, and also you don't want to let something go. And if you have a gut feeling that something's wrong, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, because there is probably something that needs to be addressed. And it's always better to do it sooner rather than later, even if it means making adjustments in your lifestyle and habits and diet. That could ultimately save you a lot of discomfort, mobility. My mobility has changed. There's just a whole lot of things. We'll end up talking about all of these things. I just want to break them down into smaller bites so that if somebody just has a question about, should I make a doctor appointment because X is happening? I'm hoping that this helps people who are in that situation right now. And if you know anybody who is like that, please share it. Or if it's you, please take heed and go see your doctor. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out to me. You can leave a comment if you're comfortable doing that down below. You can also email me with a question or anything like that. Again, I am not a medical professional, so I'm only going to share with you what I did or what my experience was, okay? Anyway, you can email me if it's more comfortable to keep it more private at bigvalleyliving@gmail.com. And I'll put a link down, well, I'll just put it right here and you can look at it. And I'll put a link below. It may take me a day or two to get back to you, and that's just because I'm living my life. So sometimes I may not see the emails like every single day, but please don't despair. I will get to you, and it won't take me long. Thank you very much for visiting. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you if you're also going through it and you're sharing your story with me. I encourage you to share your story with others as well, because you might save a life. I am talking about this because I want to help somebody who may feel helpless. I want to help them feel more empowered. I want them to feel more empowered. I want them to feel okay. I want them to know. I want you to know that it's okay, and that again, I'm going on 6 years here, and I'm fine. I'll also go through the different treatments that I've gone through, because I believe I've gone through just about everything that you can go through. But we're going to take that a bite at a time, because my situation is unique to me, and if what happened to me may be happening to you or someone you know, the whole intent is to let you know you need to fight. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. So, in the meantime, please stay positive. Please be mindful. Look up mindfulness if you wish. I'm not going to post my speech from so many years ago. But I got through it, just like everything else. And I'm going to try and drop a video, a vlog about, it's going to be sort of a timeline, at least once a week. It gives me time to kind of digest what I'm going to talk about the next time. I have to refresh my memory on some things, especially on the timelines that were several years ago. But it's important that I capture certain items when I'm talking to you guys about this. So if you'd like to follow along in this journey or you want to share it with anybody, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. I've created a playlist called Journey, and I'll drop the videos into that folder just to make sure that it's all in one spot and you can pull from whichever video or vlog will help you at any given time. Be kind, be positive, and above all, know that there are a lot of people out there who are going through very similar things as you and that you are not alone. There's a huge community. I'll go into some statistics later about, colon cancer, especially in the United States. And it'll just be facts and figures that I find online. Okay, it's not going to be like, me preaching about it. But it's a significant cancer, and I believe it is preventable. And that's why I'm coming to you, because I just went through my 4th round of chemotherapy. I just finished. And your head gets a little wonky. Every time you go through chemotherapy, you will have some residual effects. Some very, very mild. And then others that will be with you for the rest of your life. Now, when I say for the rest of your life, I am extremely happy to be alive. And so I'm kind of promoting a little hashtag that I made a few months ago, and that is, watch for the hashtag living with stage 4 colon cancer. And right here. Because you can live a very full life. It may be different and you may have to adapt. And there may be things that you can do to mitigate issues. So I hope to share these things with you so that maybe you can avoid some of the things that I went through. And also I want to always, always, always encourage you to be aware and be open and honest with your doctor. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself, is to be open and honest and stay positive. Okay, so share this with anybody you think that would benefit from it. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell if you want to see when videos and vlogs are going to come up about this topic. And this is just the first one of all of the little steps that I've gone through. Again, thank you all so much for the kind and positive words that you've shared with me. They really, really mean a lot to me, and I read every single message. So in the meantime, until I see you again, may God bless you. And thanks for your support, and thanks for just being there for yourself as well.